The council chamber of the Galactic Alliance fell silent as the holographic display flickered to life. 7 species, representing thousands of worlds, watched in horror as another star system winked out of existence. The Vexter swarm had consumed it whole. Commander Zolther, a towering Krillian with forearms and crystalline skin, slammed his appendage against the obsidian table. 3 systems in one rotation. At this rate, the entire outer rim will fall within a solar cycle. Our fleets are insufficient, hissed Ambassador Saratha, her serpentine body coiling anxiously. The Vexter adapt faster than we can deploy countermeasures. We need reinforcements. A bitter laugh echoed through the chamber. Reinforcements? From where? Every species capable of fighting is already on the front line. We're losing this war. In the corner of the room, a single data chipset ignored a message from a world the Alliance had dismissed as myth. Earth. Mia Chen stood at the viewport of the Un's Defiance, her reflection ghostly against the star-studded void. Her dark eyes tracked the distant flashes of plasma fire, the dying gasps of the Krillian defense fleet. Captain, we're receiving distress signals on all frequencies, reported Lieutenant Kevin Torres from the tactical station. His fingers danced across the holographic interface, pulling up data streams faster than most species could process. The Vexter have broken through the Krillian line. They're requesting immediate evacuation support. Mia turned from the viewport, her expression carved from stone. How long until we're in range? 14 minutes. Mum, make it 10. Kevin's lips quirked into a slight smile. Captain? Diverting power from non-essential systems. Engaging emergency thrust. The Defiance lurched forward, its experimental human-designed engines pushing past the theoretical limits that other species considered unbreakable. Because that's what humans did. They looked at limits and asked, why? On the planet below, Zolther watched his world burn. The Vexter weren't just an army. They were a force of nature, a swarm of biomechanical nightmares that consumed everything in their path. His soldiers fought valiantly, but valor meant nothing against an enemy that learned from every encounter, that evolved with every battle. Sir, unknown vessel entering atmosphere. His tactical officer shouted. It's moving too fast. The whole stress should tear it apart. But the ship didn't tear apart. It streaked through the sky like a comet, leaving a trail of superheated air in its wake. The Defiance didn't slow down, it accelerated, diving straight into the heart of the Vexter swarm. What emerged from that human ship changed everything. Mia led the first wave herself. The Alliance species had their plasma rifles, their energy shields, their carefully calculated tactics. Humans had something different, controlled chaos and the unwillingness to accept defeat. Delta Squad, hit them from the left flank. Charlie, I want suppressing fire on that cluster. Mia's voice crackled over the comm as she emptied a magazine into a Vexter warrior. The creature's adaptive armor began to compensate, but before it could fully adjust, she'd already switched to incendiary rounds. That was the human trick. Don't give the enemy time to adapt. Keep changing. Keep moving. Keep fighting. Kevin coordinated the orbital support from the Defiance, but he wasn't just sitting at a console. He was running tactical algorithms on the fly, predicting Vexter movements 3 steps ahead, rerouting power to weapon systems in microsecond intervals that would make an AI dizzy. Mia, heads up. I'm seeing a thermal spike 200 meters northeast of your position. Big one. Probably a heavy variant. Copy that. Moving to engage. Zolther watched in disbelief as this human commander, this supposedly mythical being, charged toward a Vexter heavy assault form that had killed 17 of his best warriors. She didn't use cover the way his people did, calculating angles and minimizing exposure. She used it aggressively, flowing from position to position, making the enemy react to her. The heavy variant never stood a chance. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the Vexter swarm had retreated for the first time in recorded history. They'd encountered something they couldn't quickly adapt to. Unpredictability backed by ruthless efficiency. Mia stood in the council chamber 3 days later, her combat armor replaced by a crisp uniform. The Alliance representative stared at her with a mixture of awe and fear. You thought we were myths? Mia said, her voice calm, but carrying an edge sharp enough to cut steel. Stories your ancestors told to frighten children. Deathworlders from a planet so hostile that survival itself was an act of defiance. She leaned forward, palms flat on the obsidian table. We are not myths. We are humanity, and we've been waiting for your call. Kevin appeared on a holographic display beside her, transmitting from the Defiance's bridge. Earth has authorized full military deployment. 15 battle groups are en route to reinforce your positions. We've also prepared tactical data packets analyzing Vexther behavior patterns and recommended countermeasures. Zolther found his voice. Why? Why would you help us? We never acknowledged your existence. We dismissed your transmissions as elaborate hoaxes. Mia's expression softened slightly. Because we know what it's like to fight for survival. Every day, every generation, on a world that tried to kill us at every turn. We evolved in adversity. We thrived in chaos, and we learned one fundamental truth. When someone calls for help against extinction, you answer. She straightened, her eyes scanning each representative. You wanted reinforcements. You have them. We're taking the front line. In the weeks that followed, the war changed. Human forces didn't just fight, they taught. They showed the Alliance species how to think like predators instead of prey. How to turn defensive positions into offensive springboards. How to make the enemy fear the battle instead of dictating its terms. Mia and Kevin became legends in their own right. The captain and her tactical officer, the humans who proved that myths could bleed, fight, and win. The Vexther swarm learned a hard lesson. Humans didn't just survive their death world. They conquered it. And now, they'd brought that same indomitable spirit to the stars. The Alliance had thought humans were myths. Now, the Vexther knew they were nightmares, and